One, greed and hypocrisy leading to a genocidal world war. And post-war injustice and hysteria. A boom, a crash, totalitarianism. Act 2. Greed and hypocrisy leading to a genocidal world war. Post-war injustice and hysteria. A boom, a crash, totalitarianism. Act 3. Greed and hysteria. A boom, a crash. I don't dare continue. Totalitarianism. Again, yes. But never before has mankind been confronted by the problem of surviving global death, total death, the doubting of reality, and overall a well-bred paranoia, totalitarianism. And our personal antidotes: dope, marking time, and making money, making it, turning on, turning off. Dope, 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 dope. The facts are potent enough. The facts are potent enough. The facts are potent enough. As the death of society, totalitarianism.
Okay. Let's see here. Rip Bozo to Jackson Hinkle. What is this song? It is... I'll just link it in chat. It's called Totalitarianism by someone who entered Destiny's... what do you call it? The compilation or composition challenge. Almost every single song from the composition challenge finalists are fucking bangers. All right, let's see here. Why am I so fucking dark? Wait, what the fuck happened to my camera? Configure video. You're like that? Whoa, holy shit. What the fuck is going on here? Okay, does that look better? Whoa, this camera does not like anything that I'm doing right now. Okay, close that, close that. Okay, that looks better. We'll apply. Okay, there we go. Try some makeup, yeah. Let me see here. Close this out. How's everybody doing today? To approaching the surface of the sun, true. Yep, we have the Jackson Hinkle tweet, or is this a new one?
All right, welcome to the show, everybody.
Stop. We got this one. Biden lost the war in Afghanistan. Biden wasn't even the president for 99% of that war. Lost the war in Ukraine. It is still ongoing. It is not going well for Russia. Lost the war to topple Assad in Syria. He was not that. We left that a long time ago. Lost Middle East peace to Hamas. Like this is just insane. We didn't have puppet governments in these countries. If anything, they were puppet governments of France. Okay, cool. Good show, Jackson. This is true. That's true. Russia hasn't won. I don't know why he's just pretending like the war in Ukraine isn't over. Like, did the conflict in Israel happen? And then everyone's like, okay, well, Ukraine lost. We're gonna move on to Israel now. Decades of military control in Sahel. Juntas won. Like, Israel hasn't lost? Like, these tweets are just fucking insane. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Got you, Jack. Does great work exposing the establishment lies about Ukraine. Your tax dollars are going to literal Nazis while the world's most profitable corporation silences critics of that Nazi funding. Man, I wish 1984 was real so these motherfuckers would just fucking disappear. Holy shit, dude. Hezbollah is allegedly coming into Israel. That's our first update for you guys. Super fucking great, super fucking poggers, you know? We all love to see it. The increased tensions throughout the Middle East coming to a head. Yeah, the dirt bike squad. You know what was really cool to me back in the fucking day? Back when I first started playing Warhammer, these fucking Warhammer bike squads, dude. Bro, I fucked with these things. I was too poor to afford more than like one squad of them. And then even then, oh shit, I had this one, dude. I had this one and I felt like a bad motherfucker, okay? I felt like a bad motherfucker because I had a guy on a fucking buggy sidecar with a heavy bolter. That shit was base as fuck. I saw that headline, Gas, but I'm going to need to read it on stream. I didn't have time to read it while I was driving. Let's see here. We are just... Yeah, but Dirt Bike Squad, let's go. How's it going, Blackbird? Yes, hi. But I have a fuckload of tabs open right now to go through. Sorry, I like to argue with people on Discord while I'm fucking streaming. I need to stop doing that. It's bad content for you. It's bad content for me. You know, nobody wins. Nobody wins, okay? I can give you the update on the Middle East, literally any question. Where are they hiding all of the what do you call it? Hostages. Answer that one, Zombie Hunter. Gaza. or Egypt. Oh, thanks for the specificity. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, you know what? I need to wake the fuck up. Let's drink a Monster and let's start going. Bro, here's a thing. Okay? Here's the thing about lefties is the thing about lefties is they don't care about optics, all right? Open the 2 videos so you don't forget. Okay. Is they claim to not care about optics, right? Like fuck your optics, etc., etc. But like worst thing
where Israel is crying foul because
shut the fuck up. It's just good because it just means that no one's going to support anything that they push for, you know? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you did link that. Send her back to the shithole she was so desperate to get away from. Least racist Zionist, least retarded leftist, thinking Palestinian children. I want to send that bitch to Hamas. Chill the fuck out. Thinking Palestinian children should have food and water is retarded now. While praising... Wow, holy shit. Can't call someone a retard while spelling praising like that. The rape and murder of innocent people. Yes, very much so. Glad to see you yourself aware at how stupid you sound. Now leave me alone. Go talk about how much you're sexually oppressed or something. What the fuck? Where did that even come from? Am I supposed to feel bad for colonial settlers getting fucked? Yep. That's pretty bad. Katie got her Twitter back? Aw, dang. Oh, and she just tweeted. What is... when I refer to us, I refer to people with conservative views, not weird leftists who want to decolonize things. Oh my god. Here's hoping she gets herself banned again. Okay. Wait, is she going full? Oh man, I can't wait for that. Well, I invited a right-winger to jump into my YouTube chat to explain the payment, alleged payment to Iran, but I guess we'll just go into that here in a minute. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. You're deranged. You know that? It's in a cactus. Oh man, are we just opening up all of them? We're just going through Katie's... Is this what my content is now? Opening up other people's tweets and reading them? God, I fucking hate reading tweets on stream. It is such bad content, but I love raging at it. Right-wingers not understanding leftist positions, so they make up shit and then posture at imagined hypocrisy. Never mind, this applies to liberals too. Okay, partying in the desert outside a sieged open-air prison where people die because the fascist state doesn't allow electricity, water, or medicine in? And she's the victim here? And dragged her... She was kidnapped by terrorists. What is the position to understand? Shouldn't victim blame her. Now saying insanely that if you go to a rave near Gaza, you deserve to be kidnapped and raped. Mind linking me that rape? But I agree, Israel shouldn't have been kidnapping all those people for all those years. Okay, here's the question. Here's the question, right? There, I haven't seen in any like news article reports of rape. However, I have seen, unfortunately, in addition to people getting executed, shot up, etc., dead bodies being paraded around on Twitter, I've also seen what was seemingly a a live streamed rape at that music festival. Now, I don't know if the news agencies just don't want to talk about that, or what, or maybe it was from a separate event. I don't. It looked like the same thing. She looked like she was wearing rave clothes, but lefties are going full rape denial on this shit. And it's not like I'm going to search out the video of a woman getting brutally raped, probably before she was executed on the fucking spot, I just don't know what I don't know how to respond to the like blatant fucking denial of literal fucking violent rape of Israeli women. Yeah. I saw one, that was enough for me. Okay. I don't like watching videos of people getting raped. I don't like watching videos of people dying. I don't like watching videos of people getting kidnapped or tortured, But it's like, do these people have to witness the actual video for themselves? Yeah, Mia Khalifa wants them to fucking film in horizontal, Fucking ridiculous shit. Uh-oh. Reports coming in. Oh, never mind. So funny that she posts that, but she would probably be stoned for being a sex worker. True. Exactly. Okay, let's keep going. These are like the people who claim Auschwitz was just a fun summer camp. There are pictures and videos of her and other hostages in Gaza. They're being held in family homes where they're eating and drinking. There's no evidence of her being raped. She's also a soldier in the IDF. First off, everyone who is above the age of, what, is it 17 or 18, is required to serve in the military for like 4 years. All right. Number two, just because they're not starving her to death does not mean that she was not kidnapped. Men 3 years, girls 19 months. Damn, philosophy, the fucking zombie hunter. I'm gonna have to shorten your name down somehow, buddy. You're coming in clutch with the little details there. Yeah, 18, men 3 years, girls 19 months. PZH. That's how we'll do it. But like, I don't know. Like, obviously, a lot of this stuff is going to come. We're going to get more details of the accounts of people from these areas where Hamas came in and fucking, went full scorched earth on innocent civilians. But I feel like they're just going to do this thing where they're going to say, oh, well, they were paid off by the Israeli government to make it seem as bad as possible. They don't want to watch or are choosing to not acknowledge literal live streams of people being raped before they're murdered. They're unwilling to listen to accounts of them. What would it take to change their mind that these things are happening? we have mandatory military service in my country. Doesn't mean I'm a soldier at the moment. Yeah, exactly. I actually watched a really cool.
But 6:30.
Shut up. Let me see if I can find it in my YouTube history because it should be like right there. But there's a guy, I don't think I've ever seen any of his other videos before. Vlad Vexler Chat. I guess he has a main channel. But I would watch it on stream. But he's like very rambly and kind of boring, you know? He brings up like an amazing point about the most important thing to remember is when you're analyzing a conflict, you have to keep certain principles in mind, right? And what people are combatants and what people are non-combatants. He's an academic. Of course he's slow. Is he an academic? I don't think I've ever heard of him before. Huh. Maybe I have seen something from him. A couple of seconds. Oh, I have seen a video or two from him before. Okay. I don't remember him. But yeah, his video, he has some like really cool insights. Unfortunately, it's so long and so rambly. I guess because he said he was coming off of being sick that it's just unwatchable for stream. But like here, I'll give you guys the link if you guys want to open it up in another tab or save it to your watch later list or something. But it's a pretty good thing to keep in mind. How we should treat people who are combatants and how we should treat people who are non-combatants, and in what scenarios, and why we should have principles about who are non-combatants and why we shouldn't treat them as combatants, you know? And I don't think that lefties right now are actually willing to contend with that. The tweets that someone linked last stream about was it No Opinion? Is it No Opinion? There we go. Let's see if we can find them. Fuck me. It's going to take fucking forever to find what I'm looking for. But basically, he just talks about why the leftist movement acts the way that it does. Gas, do you know what I'm talking about here? Talking about tankies? No, sorry. Damn, I thought it might have been you. I thought it was you that linked it. But essentially, like, he's talking about how leftists are just in favor of accruing power. Just in favor of accruing power because they feel like the state of the world is so fucked up that you can eschew all principle, you can eschew all morality in favor of an amoral power grab in order to bring the revolution, in order to do whatever the fuck you want so that you can accrue more power. Oh, there it is. The far left dreams of nothing but power. Their ideology is utterly plastic and malleable, a tool to be modified or discarded at will. They are obsessed with power. It's their constant daydream, their entire vision of the world, the very air they breathe. This is slightly different than the far right, by the way. The far right dreams of cruelty, of visiting pain on those they hate. The far left sees cruelty primarily as a tool of gaining and asserting power. It's a subtle distinction, I admit. Orwell describes the far left's ideal society in 1984 when O'Brien says, "That is the world that we are preparing, Winston. A world of victory after victory, triumph after triumph after triumph, an endless pressing upon the nerve of power." This idea of far leftist dreaming of a world defined only by power obviously came from Orwell's interactions with communists, what we would now call tankies, in the Spanish Civil War. From Russian Bolsheviks to modern-day online tankies, these guys are all the same. And it's super fucking true. It's all they fucking talk about. It's all they fucking, like, every action that they do, every action that they take, you know, is always just what is best for the movement, the cause, whatever the fuck, right? It's just fucking crazy. Yeah, if you look at left-wing doctrine, it's all about power struggles. And, like, think about if you've been here for a long time and you remember my conversations that I had, you know, the good faith ones that I had with Marxist-Leninists, where I asked, like, what is the end goal, right? Like, they would always say, you know, or like, what does that look like? What does the end goal look like? They would always say, well, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in an end goal, a win condition. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the continual revolution until we achieve communism. And when I say, well, what does that look like? Well, it looks like whatever the people want. They don't actually have answers for any of these things. They just have, and I would say this, I don't even think that they have a way of analyzing it, except for a group, an intuition that is informed by group dynamics within their own little bubbles, you know? It is all just vibes and intuition that you feel, that you acquire after spending enough time around these same people. And these vibes lead people to, I guess today, literally defending rape. Blue tribe versus red tribe, very true. 100% true. Utopia is impossible. The dream is just to smash others beneath their feet until they themselves get smashed. True. Well, here's the thing. They feel as if they're already getting smashed under other people's feet. That's the entire point, right? That's the entire point of like leftist politics. Those with power versus those who don't have power, right? You always look at the oppressed and the oppressor. And the oppressed is justified in overthrowing the oppressor, usually when looking at like leftist theory and stuff, with whatever means necessary, you know? Yeah, that's why I'm specifically saying oppress and oppressor, because you'll, like, if you look at it through the lens of class, right, you have the rich and you have the poor, right? And when it comes to race, right, you have white people and then you have people of color. You have straight cis people and you have gay/trans people. There is the oppressed class and there is the oppressor class, and that is the like most distilled, boiled down to the base elements of leftism that you can get, I think, you know. It is looking at the dynamics between two opposing viewpoints, always through the oppressed oppressor lens, and then you can apply an additional lens, whether it is class, whether it is class, race, sexuality, whatever dynamic you want to look at. And if you are part of that oppressed class, you can take whatever means necessary to overthrow the other side. But obviously this has problems when you have people going out and raping, murdering, and killing people, yeah? Gay people whom don't agree are class traitors. Very true. Then you reach intersectionality and go, fuck it, why not mix all the power struggles in an algorithm until we win them all? Well, here's the thing on that. People, I feel like intersectionality, the way that it was presented to me, right, and the way that I look at intersectionality is like, let's look at the interplay of all of these things, and why they, like, a black woman probably has a different experience than a black man, even though they're both black, right? Because the black woman also has, the fact that she's a woman there. And so, like, there is a valuable thing to look at there, and to be ultra, ultra, ultra clear, ultra, fair and balanced. This isn't inherently a bad way to analyze a dynamic or a situation, right? But when you come at it from the axiom that oppressed automatically gets to do whatever the fuck they want, right, to overthrow the oppressors, then we have problems. Deserve to go to be raped if I go to Israel and get to rape freely in America? Jesus. I'm good at self-loathing, so I'll class hate myself with you. True. Fuck, there was something I was about to say. But the difference between the way that intersectionality was presented to me, like there's interplays of different, demographics and, socioeconomic things, and you should take all these things into account when analyzing a certain situation, which I think is a great way to look at things. I feel like they deconstructed, because the left loves to deconstruct things. They deconstructed intersectionality, which completely destroys the point of it, to the point where they're like, okay, well, you have this oppression here and this oppression here and this oppression here. Instead of mixing all of those things and then looking at the interplay of society, they take all the individual aspects and then they decide whether you're a good person or a bad person on this point or that point or this point or that point. Based on the situation, right? So if you're like a black woman, right, then like you have free reign to talk about anything regarding feminism and, race relations. But the fucking second that you speak up about, gender, well, you don't have that. I know this sounds like the oppression Olympics thing that conservatives talk about, right? Yeah, I'm talking about critical theory, but I didn't want to I'm explaining it rather than telling you what it is, right? But because you don't have that oppression, now you're not allowed to talk about this one because you're part of the oppressor class because you're cis and straight. Just that it's, in my opinion, a cloak for what you later said, that a black woman deserves more privileges than a white man. Oh yeah, to be ultra clear, I think that the overwhelming majority of the cases that we see this applied is absolutely bad faith, right? That they absolutely look at things in a way that, okay, well, this person deserves more privileges because they are more oppressed, right? And that we should take away privileges from people rather than just try to bring everyone up to par, right? So yeah, see, I think we actually 100% agree. It's just that I feel like I can still take the lens of analysis or the style of analysis that they do and not go into the fucking crazy stupid shit, Thinks Hamas is freedom fighting terrorists. The mass finally came off. Oh shit, link it. Oh shit, link it. I love shitting on lefties who support terrorism. Can you imagine for a second, I want everyone to close their eyes and take a deep breath, and I want all of you guys close your eyes, okay? Nothing is going on screen, okay? Imagine a world where Twitter existed on 9/11. Imagine for a second the fucking insane shit you would see from these types of people on the motherfucking internet on 9/11. It would be the most dog shit fucking reality imaginable. Let's see. Israel does Oh shit! Let's see it. Let's see this clip.
He says, did the Palestinians actually take civilian hostage, or is that fake news? I don't care.
Yeah, the occupiers.
See, it's just we can weaponize cruelty in order to get ahead. That's literally fucking it, dude.
Not civilians. That is what it comes down to. Like imagine if
Sorry, go
on. Germany, let's say Germany to be non-controversial, invaded the United States, and they said, you know what, Cincinnati, Ohio is our ancestral home, and everyone knows that's blatantly false. But they take your home, they murder your grandma, they bulldoze like your neighbor's house. Are those people civilians there? No, they're occupiers, and those are criminals. Yeah. That is, there are no civilians there.
Hold on, say it again.
False. But they take your home, they murder your grandma, they bulldoze like your neighbor's house.
No one's going to say that if there was like an Israeli that walked into your house, fucking domed your grandma, and then fucking told you to leave, that you wouldn't have the right to push to fight back. Right? But oftentimes what's actually happening is the government of Israel is declaring some area of a city or, like surrounding a city as now open for like Israeli settlement, right? And people are offered very cheap land to build houses on, and they do that. Now, should they do that? Should they, blame the motherfucking government for giving them the right is what I think, right? Like the government is the one doing the aggressive action there. I don't think that random fucking Israeli citizens are walking into like a random Palestinian's home, pointing a gun at them and saying, mine, Oh, I already opened this one up. 1 second. Let me get through this.
Those people civilians there? No, they're occupiers, and those are criminals. Yeah. That is, there are no civilians there in the illegal military occupation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I remember the question that I wanted to ask Lonerbox immediately after I ended stream. I messaged him, but he hasn't responded. Which fair. That was boring content that I brought him. But my understanding is that all of the settlements that are like the big, international like crime that everyone talks about, those are happening in the West Bank, not in Gaza. So all these people that are saying, well, they were only killing settlers, they're not talking about literal, I stole your house settlers. They're talking about just the fact that they're Israeli gives them carte blanche to fucking get murdered,
So that's number one, very beautifully put. Number two, much more importantly, the track record of Palestinians has been 1,000 times better than that of the Israeli occupation, despite the fact that Israeli occupation does not need to brutalize. They already have all the power, but they still choose to do far, 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 far worse. The worst that will happen to a person in Palestinian custody is that they're going to be like auctioned off for a prisoner swap, which is the historic track record of Palestinian custody, is that they're going to be like auctioned off for a prisoner swap, which is the historic track record also.
Yeah.
Or they're going to kill them like they announced they were going to do today. They announced that they are going to kill one hostage for every bomb that lands in Gaza, live on TV. I do not know why the OBS chat is... Marco. Hamas got Sondsol, true. Marco Polo, thank you very much. Don't know why that happened. But yeah, I had to, I guess it happened because I opened up a new window. Fuck me, I guess. But we are back. Okay, let's keep going through these things. Germany, U.S. slam Netanyahu's Middle East map presented at UN. The Middle East map omits Palestinian territories. German Foreign Ministry says it is of no help with regard to the efforts to reach a negotiated two-state solution. I mean, one second. Showing a map that does not depict territory. Stop. That are occupied or annexed, so to speak, is something that we naturally reject, and that is no help with regard to the efforts to reach a negotiated two-state solution. I mean, it could mean that. Not gonna lie, it could mean that, but the I mean, this is a pretty small map. It's not like you would even be able to see Palestine on this map, would you? I don't know the actual answer to that. Would you, like, I feel like Palestine is very, very, very small. But maybe I'm being too good faith with Netanyahu because he's not a particularly good dude either. Okay, let's see. Anti-Israel National SJP, which is Students for Justice for Palestinian Liberation, calls for day of resistance at colleges Thursday and praises Hamas's surprise operation against the Zionist enemy, which disrupted the very foundation of Zionist settler society. Jesus. I you know, something that's scary to me is, like, my little brother is very, very lefty, you know? My little brother is very, very much a lefty. And I worry that he's going to be a Hamas simp if this, like, comes up next time I see him, you know? I just worry about that because he's, you know, he's a young college age kid. Like, fuck me.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם. אנחנו
Openly, they will be using genocidal tactics against all Palestinians since they are subhuman in his eyes. Does he say that?
בחיות אדם,
Human animals. I feel like he's talking about Hamas there, but maybe he's talking about all Palestinians. Oh, I love the idea here. Article 33 of the Geneva Convention, specifically the Fourth Geneva Convention of 1949, addresses the protection of individuals during these times of conflict. It states, no protected person may be punished for an offense he or she has not personally committed. Collective penalties and likewise all measures of intimidation or terrorism are prohibited. How fucking ironic. Hayat Adam means savages. Oh, so not even human animals. So they're mistranslating it. How ironic for them to I wish that I wasn't banned on Twitter so that I could respond to this shit. How are you going to cite Article 33 of the Geneva Convention about this when literally the entirety of the assault, minus like one or two military outposts that were targeted, the overwhelming majority of the violence all happened against civilians? You have no fucking right to cite the Geneva Convention on this, okay? I'm going to keep this open. I like this thread. I'm going to bookmark it. I can't even bookmark it when I'm suspended. Fucking losers. Copy the link. I'm going to paste it somewhere where I can remember it. Fucking you, stupid ass Twitter. They'll let literal neo-Nazis on their site who push anti-Semitic fucking genocidal fucking speech. But the second that I give someone gun safety advice, suddenly I'm the bad guy. Yeah, it looks like no terrorism, guy. All right, let's see what President Sunday has to say about supporting Hamas. Is he going to actually support Hamas here? I hope not.
If you look at the
Wait 1 second. Stream from Hamas Al Piker today. Jesus Christ, dude. Wait, hold on. I want to see. Did he actually wear something similar to that? No, I just want the image. Just the image. Open image in new tab. Fuck you. I want to see the pixels. I want to see how much of this was photoshopped. Probably just the hat. Right? Fucking stupid.
actual coverage of what Gaza looks like right now, it's horrific.
You know what else is horrific, Sunday?
It's actually unreal. The nature of the explosives that they're using do not discriminate between individuals. And I'm sorry,
Yeah,
when
I
we're
saw
talking
that.
about bombing of
Yes,
this scale,
I'm just not going to open
you
it.
are not. These are residential areas. You are not just killing Hamas. You're not just killing terrorists. You are killing neighborhoods of people. And when you see how far the smoke goes and how thick it is, and how far the flames spread,
I don't know how to explain to people like this that, yeah, we know that that's going to happen. Everybody knows there's going to be some sort of like civilian casualties incurred here, right? Literally everybody knows this. The thing that we're trying to figure out is whether it like the level of response is justified, right? And whether Israel is taking reasonable precautions to reduce civilian casualties. You don't know right now because the ground incursion has not happened, right? Whether they are or are not trying to reduce civilian casualties. I need to know way more about the airstrikes because I've heard a lot about both the Israel, doing these things where they like shoot an inert bomb or a like small bomb on top of a building to shake everyone, wake them all up, say, hey, you have 10 minutes to leave the building and we're going to take it down, right? Before they send an actual bomb, Oh yeah, IDF taps on buildings to warn civilians, right? Or they send people text messages. Okay, I didn't know that they sent people text messages. But like, is Gaza just like an off limits place to respond with military force? Because I don't feel like there's any level of trying to tell people. I know that a lot of people have been saying that Netanyahu said that you must leave Gaza, but that doesn't seem to be what the actual translation is. The actual translation seems to be from like I've seen like I tried to find this because I didn't want to look like a fucking retard. Some people are saying leave Gaza is the translation, right? And then there's a bunch of sources that say that, and then there are a bunch of sources that say no, he's saying leave there. He's saying leave the places in the greater context of the in the greater context of his speech. He's saying leave the actual buildings that Hamas is in because we're coming in and we're going to level those motherfuckers. We're going to take them out, So maybe there's like a difference in translation there or something like that, but I feel like they are telling people, hey, we're about to come in. We're about to come in. We're about to come in. We're going to tap on the top of the roof with a small explosive telling you to get the fuck out. How many precautions would be acceptable to leftists? That's something that I went back and forth with Red Charlotte on Twitter about it. I've seen other people on Twitter talking about like what could Israel do in retaliation to like literally their 9/11. A reporter talked about the proportional like deaths and wounded from 9/11 and our population size to the attack in Israel and their population size. And the proportional like number would be like if 40,000 Americans were killed in 9/11, right? That would be like proportional to the population size of Israel, right? So no retaliation is acceptable to leftists, right? So like this is a huge, horrible attack. There's going to be a response. What is the acceptable response? I feel like if they're sending people text messages, if they're tapping on the top of the building, they're telling people from television, hey, we're coming in and you need to fucking leave, right? If you don't want to be like, if you don't want to be caught in the crossfire, we're telling you we are doing a ground invasion. We are going to come in. We're going to be dropping fucking, missiles and bombs and fucking artillery, right? If you're in or around fucking Hamas, you need to get the fuck out. At that point, how much more can Israel do? Also turning off the water and electricity in Gaza? Well, yeah, they're trying to keep Hamas from being able to communicate with each other and trying to hamper their ability to fight back because they're fucking terrorists that just killed a bunch of people, you know? And the international community all agree it is no longer Israel's fault if civilians are given reasonable warning, which I would say shaking the whole building violently before bombing it is a reasonable warning. I feel like it is, right? And also, I didn't know this, but PZH is saying that they send people text messages. At that point, like, I don't know what else they could do besides just, like, accept all losses, accept that, like, these people have been kidnapped and just, like, cry. Okay, really quick. I guess we'll watch one more thing or read one more thing. I actually don't want to reject all. No. Save and exit. Fuck you. Hamas officials tell Sky News the group hasn't killed any civilians in Israel. Tons of war footage on Twitter would say otherwise, my friend. You know? That sounds fair. It's really fucked all around, but it's fuck around and find out. If your group bash someone, you can't cry when they punch you. Or when they punch, you catch a beat down. Yeah. As how many hostages the militant group had taken and brought into Gaza Strip, Dr. Naim said he couldn't confirm an exact number, but said that they would be treated in a humane and proper way. Except for the fact that they also said that they were going to kill one hostage for every bomb that's dropped in Gaza, bro. Okay, hold on. You're linking me like video after video after video and not giving me a chance to get through one video, okay? Let's watch the fucking Present Sunday video and then we can watch the next one, okay? If you want to fucking queue them up, put them in the Discord. Otherwise, I'm going to ADD out. I'm going to click your link.
If you look at the actual coverage of what Gaza looks like right now, it's horrific. It's actually unreal. The nature of the explosives that they're using do not discriminate between individuals. And I'm sorry, like when we're talking about bombing of this scale, you are not. These are residential areas. You are not just killing Hamas. You're not just killing terrorists. You are killing neighborhoods of people. And when you see how far the smoke goes and how thick it is and how far the flames spread, this is unreal. This is something that's kind of important too. It's not just the people that they're damaging in the process. They're not just rendering them homeless. They're also destroying clinics and other places that would, for example, treat the injured parties. Israel says it is targeting resistance fighters.
I've seen enough evidence at this point to confidently say that yes, Hamas is intentionally using the hospitals, the clinics, the residential buildings as cover. Like, there is more than enough evidence out there to show that they are doing that, right? And they wouldn't like it if the IDF sent soldiers into Gaza, because there was this whole big, hoopla about them no longer occupying Gaza. They left Gaza, right? They loved that. But short of going back in with troops and clearing out a specific room, there's no way for them to retaliate to literal fucking missile pods in a building, or fucking people coordinating missile attacks, then hitting the building with their own missile. So, like, blame Hamas for that. At least in Gaza, because I know less about the West Bank than I do know about Gaza, okay? At least in the West Bank, or at least in Gaza, rather, they are absolutely using the entire populace as human shields.
Military sites and buildings belonging to Hamas, but the truth is otherwise. I believe Israel is deliberately targeting civilians and displacing them to put more pressure on Hamas. It's possible that both are true. Hamas is probably holding up in civilian buildings as well.
Okay, fair.
And so it's achieving a double impact. It's demoralizing Palestinians supporting Hamas, as well as in that way, as well as hitting Hamas. Moving that mass of people, especially in the time frame needed to avoid mass losses, isn't feasible. Yeah, no, it's not. And that's assuming that they even get the notice in time.
Wait, say it again?
In that way, as well as hitting Hamas. Moving that mass of people, especially in the time frame needed to avoid mass losses, isn't feasible. Yeah, no, it's not. And that's assuming that they even get the notice in time, that everybody cooperates. Like suppose, for example, some old person living there.
Oh, okay. They get the notice in time that everyone cooperates? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting triggered before he even gives the example. Let's listen to the example first. Because, like, my first thought is, if you get a notice from the Israeli government that says, we're about to bomb your fucking apartment building because Hamas is there, leave now, I feel like I would immediately cooperate, right? Even if I really didn't like the idea of, cooperating, I probably still would, because I also don't want to die to a fucking missile. So,
their apartment. No, I'm not leaving my home.
Then you're retarded.
Right? See, look at the scale of this for a second. This is...
Okay, so he actually did do the retarded thing, okay? If you're going to be the person who's going to be like, I'm not leaving my house, even though I got a literal direct warning that my house is about to be hit by a missile. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do for you at that point. Like, at that point, like, it's not good that you die as a civilian, but, like, what else is the Israeli government supposed to do? I mean, be fucking real for a second. What if you're 80 years old and can't leave fast enough? I would have to say that, number one, okay, if you're 80 years old and you're not leaving fast, and you're not able to leave fast enough, I could hear that. My first thought is people are probably going to help each other out. Second thing that I would think of is most people in, like, cultures outside of, like, the US and, like, Western Europe, a lot of cultures really have the multi-generational fucking household thing going on. You know, like, grandma is living with mom and dad, you know, and all of them are raising you type shit. But maybe I'm coping. To be fair, Gaza is really small. Where do they have to run to? To be clear, They didn't say leave Gaza. They never said leave the Gaza Strip, right? They said leave the areas where Hamas is, right? If you're near Hamas, you need to get the fuck away from them because we're going to be, you know, we're going to be fucking bombing the shit out of it.
Something that people really need to start keeping in mind. When they say they are targeting Hamas installations, you think in your head, oh, there's a military building, or there's a terrorist building. There's a bunch of people with bandanas around a table inside there somewhere, and that's where they're being bombed. No, these are largely civilian buildings, and even if they have Hamas in them, in order to get a Hamas operative, they are bombing the homes of families and children. Israel said it brought in special forces to try to wrest control of forest sites from Hamas fighters, including 2 kibbutzim that militants entered. Even if they have Hamas in them.
I feel like his voice is such like a psychic blank space in my mind that it's really hard to follow everything that he says. Sorry, I had to hear it again.
Inside there somewhere. And that's what you right? See, look at the scale of this for a second. This is something that people really need to start keeping in mind. When they say they are targeting Hamas installations, you think in your head, oh, there's a military building, or there's a terrorist building. There's a bunch of people with bandanas around a table inside there somewhere, and that's where they're being bombed. No, these are largely civilian buildings, and even if they have Hamas in them, in order to get a Hamas operative, they are...
The way that it works, from my understanding, and I could be wrong here, it's not like they're, unless they're like a high priority target, right? They're not bombing just like every Hamas, like every like low ranking Hamas member's house, right? Or at least in the past. They might do that now. But my understanding is like they will have a base of operations within the building, right? Whether it's like one apartment or maybe they have several apartments that they use for like a base of operations, right? And they'll have a bunch of like residential people around them too, right? Because it's easy to hide, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not like they're just like bombing or they're attempting to bomb just one duder in that complex. It's more that they're trying to from my understanding, you know, attack significant concentrations of Hamas soldiers or, you know, staging areas. If it's like an open air market and they're like staging there, people will say, oh, they bombed a market without mentioning the fact that they were literally staging the, you know, troops there or, you know, having a multiple long range missile. I can't remember the acronym, you know, but like that's my understanding. It's not like they're going after one dude and like spending a $2 million goddamn missile for that one guy.
Bombing the homes of families and children. Israel said it brought in special forces to try to wrest control of forest sites from Hamas fighters, including 2 kibbutzim that militants entered early in their attacks. The declaration of war pretended greater fighting ahead, and a major question was whether Israel would launch a ground assault into Gaza, a move that in the past has brought intensified casualties. Meanwhile, Hamas and the smaller Islamic Jihad group claimed to have taken captive more than 130 people from inside Israel and brought them into Gaza, saying they would be traded for the release of thousands of Palestinians imprisoned by Israel. The announcement, though unconfirmed, was the first sign of the scope of abductions. The captives are known to include soldiers and civilians, including women, children, and older adults, mostly Israelis, but also some people of other nationalities. The Israeli military said also that the number of captives is significant. As many as 1,000 Hamas fighters were involved.
Oh, a kibbutz is a socialist commune where people live, share property, income, and work together, typically in agriculture. I heard someone, one of the people who were being interviewed by by DW News, which is German, I believe, kept on saying that word, but I didn't know if they just didn't have they didn't know what like the English translation for neighborhood was. I didn't know exactly what they were trying to get across, but now I know. Thank you. Yeah, by the way, I guess if it's a like socialist commune, these people are cheering on the fucking kidnap of Granny and this girl's 9-year-old daughter from a socialist commune. So way to go, leftists.
Saturday morning's assault. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said, speaking on ABC's This Week. The high figure underscored the extent of planning by the militant group ruling Gaza, which has said it launched an attack in response to mounting Palestinian suffering under Israel's occupation and blockade of Gaza. Now, the attack is, in terms of what it actually will accomplish and what it involved, is unjustifiable. This is not something that Hamas can win, and they did not have the consent of the Palestinian people to put them into this situation. But it does bear mentioning. When they're talking about Palestinian suffering...
Also, I also want to, if anyone has like a good source for this or something like that, I'd love to see what the support for Hamas is, because the person in the space that I would trust most to, I would trust their opinion most. We talked to them last night, Lonerbox, about the whole situation, and evidently they are the most popular party in both Gaza and the West Bank. So,
under Israel's occupation. Some people don't know what that means. It is not akin in kind to anti-colonial sentiment in places where people are otherwise free to live as normal citizens. Now, for peoples that have been decimated and their culture dissolved by colonial pressures, that's a very bad thing. But it's another thing altogether if you then take those people and you then corral them like cattle, and you treat them as not even second-class citizens, as like a garbage class. Literally, they have to put nets between the bottom level Palestinian residents and the upper level settler ones, because they will throw their trash down at them for sport. Rape and assaults are pretty rampant and under-policed when it's done by settlers against Palestinians. They are treated horrifically. Imagine that's what you're living under every day of your life, forever.
sorry, let me hear it again.
Bottom level Palestinian residents, not even second-class citizens, as like a garbage class. Literally, they have to put nets between the bottom level Palestinian residents and the upper level settler ones, because they will...
I've never heard that shit before in my entire life. Okay, we're fact-checking him. What the fuck is he talking about? Israel... Not Israel death toll today. Israel puts nets... let's just put Israel nets Palestinians separate. Do we see anything? Show results with nets. We'll look at that one. Okay, let's look at these two really quick. And then let's control F, nets. Not only is the mall crawling with Arabs luring poor doors into the nets. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for. Control F, nets. And Hebron. Okay, nets. From stones and trash thrown by Israeli settlers in Hebron. Okay, so that's not what they were saying. Implications of the Israeli settlement, settlers, and military presence within the West Bank. Reflection on Hebron brings to my mind images of nets and bulletproof glass materials put in place to protect Palestinians from historically violent Israeli settlers. I remember walking through the market of the old city and looking up the nets covering the roofs above. What are those nets for? I inquired. The nets are to protect the vendors from stones and trash thrown by settlers, I was told. The nets were clearly a literal manifestation of the political turmoil within the old city, but I could not help but think of them as symbolic as well. Okay, so it wasn't to separate them. Let's hear what he says again.
That's a very bad thing. But it's another thing altogether if you then take those people and you then corral them like cattle, and you treat them as not even second-class citizens, as like a garbage class. Literally, they have to put nets between the bottom level Palestinian residents and the upper level settler ones, because they will throw their trash down.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that second part. Okay, it looks like he's right here. I've never heard that, but that's true. I thought that he was saying that they were trying to keep the Palestinians from interacting with them by using nets. So I misunderstood him.
At them for sport.
Rape
and assaults are pretty rampant and under-policed when it's done by settlers against Palestinians. They are treated horrifically. Imagine that's what you're living under
here.
Every day of your life, forever. Okay, you want to go to work?
Here's the thing. I don't know why we have to only focus on the atrocities of one. We can say that there are bad things that Israelis and the Israeli government does. However, does it justify or is it explanatory for what is happening right now? Right? Is it not? If we want to look at it from the perspective of the Palestinians, which is totally valid and something that we should do, should we not also understand why the citizens of Israel are also not fond of Palestinians? No, I know, Ash, but what I'm trying to point out is, like, we want to look at the reasons why Palestinians hate Israelis so much. It's true, they do. But I'm mixing up because we're talking about two groups and why they hate each other. Palestinians hate Israelis because Israelis treat Palestinians like trash. Israelis hate Palestinians because they think that Palestinians want to murder all of them. Why do Palestinians want to murder them? Because Israelis treat them like trash. Why do they treat them like trash? Because they think they all want to fucking murder them. Yeah, I have the link open. We'll look at it in a second. There are 2 million Israeli Arabs. They serve in the army, police, courts, and as politicians. But are they Palestinians? Like Israeli Arabs, sure. But do they consider themselves Palestinian? Like I don't know the intricacies there. Israeli citizens. So they're Palestinian Israeli citizens. Or just Arab. Okay. Well, I don't know how I don't know what the general attitude towards Arabs in Israel are, but I'm talking about like the interplay between Palestine and Israel specifically. Get Sunday on and yell at him. I don't know if I want to get into that level of an autistic conversation with him. Also, I don't know if I want to interact with Sunday because the last time I got banned from Twitch, it was because Sunday and his fucking goons mass reported me. All right. This time when I got banned from Twitch, it was because Sunday and his goons fucking mass reported me for covering his video. So like, I'm not sure if risking talking to Sunday is worth it. Understand?
You're herded like cattle through this. Everywhere you go is just a dumpster heap. You have garbage being thrown at you from the upper levels. The police exist only to hassle you. You have basically no protections. This is insane. Now, this is in Jerusalem.
He hasn't condemned any actions by Hamas yet. I just want to point that out. We're halfway through this video. He has not condemned a single action by Hamas.
If, for example, you're in a place like Gaza, it's a little bit different. There are no checkpoints within Gaza, but there are checkpoints around Gaza, and you actually cannot leave without special permission.
That's true.
In a very real sense, the Palestinians in Gaza are in an open-air prison. They're actually not free. They can't choose where to be. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So, here's the thing, too. When you see... This was an argument I was having on Twitter earlier. When you see people, not just idiots like Second Thought. So Second Thought, that, I can't remember his actual name, but the guy who runs around with Hakeem and Ugopnik, big YouTuber. He goes on talking about the Hamas attacks like it's a revolutionary action. He's an idiot. But suppose you're somebody with family under these conditions, and you hear, oh my god, there's a massive incursion, da-da-da-da. You might be forgiven for thinking in the back of your head, oh, maybe this will work. Maybe they'll actually carve out some space. Maybe they'll be able to get some leverage, so they can make demands for Palestinian rights and for...
Is that the fucking takeaway? Like, maybe that's what goes through their mind, but is that a good thought? Is advocating for like peaceful means like ever like a option that we should be, pressing people to do? Rather than just like pure blood and carnage? I understand why they fucking feel the way they do. I understand why the fuck they feel the way they do. Israel does some fucked up shit. But does that mean that we should be like okay with the action that Hamas takes? No.
For the
how's it going, Shadowrun?
Respect the dignity of Palestinian people, even if Hamas is the worst, right? Maybe. Being reflexively in support of that, given these conditions, is not the same thing as celebrating every...
PZH. The thing is, the Gazans have to get like a permit and then like have to go through several checkpoints before they even get to go into Israel, right? Like, as much as I think that there are a lot of justified fears from Israel, we also have to accept that one of the reasons that there are terrorist groups over there is because Israel does bad things too, right? We can't look at just the action of Israel, or I'm sorry, just the actions of Hamas and say, okay, Hamas is just like doing this for no reason. We have to understand the reasons to find a solution, or to at least like figure out what the fuck is going on, right? Otherwise, these people are just randomly going out and kidnapping a bunch of people for no fucking reason, right? Like Saturday morning cartoon villains. It's better to understand the full breadth of what's going on. However, it does not justify in any way, shape, or form anything that Hamas is doing. Any actions taken against civilians is bad, whether you're Israel or you're Palestine. It doesn't fucking matter. Both sides. Well, Israel is morally responsible for the protection of Israelis. Okay, they do a little bit more than just the protection of Israelis. All right, I'm not talking about the like retaliatory strikes in Gaza, right? Because I don't think that casualty numbers are the way to look at proportionality in terms of the in terms of like looking at, or I don't think proportionality should be measured by looking at the casualty numbers. But when we look at like places like the West Bank, there's probably a little less going on over there than there is in Gaza most of the time, right? And Like they do some pretty fucked up things. Okay, they do some pretty fucked up things. They should stop that. They have been condemned by the UN. They have been condemned by multiple nations all over the fucking world, including people that are our allies. So it's not just people who want to say fuck you to the US. We're going to condemn your friend for doing normal, combat actions or normal occupation actions. It's like actually really bad stuff. Even though they do the bad stuff, does not justify going after fucking children and grandma and fucking raping. I heard Leaping Larry, who's a Marxist-Leninist indigenous activist on Twitch, say the killings are justified since Palestinians... Dino, dude, link that to me. I'd love to go over it. Oh, shit.
It's very important because we have statements like this. Now, last week I praised Representative Matt Gaetz for what he did in the House. It's something I wanted the squad to do. And I thought it was awesome because there were a lot of things that I really wanted that he was pushing for. Single item.
Really quick, PZH. Can we both admit that Israel does really bad things sometimes? Can you at least say that they do a bad sometimes? Because listen, I'm on Israel's side on this one. Okay, I'm on Israel's side. They just got fucking terrorist attacked. Okay. We have to look at the reality on the ground, that people don't just fucking become terrorists for no reason usually.
I guess the Palestinians don't get any of that piece.
Well, I promise you.
No, I can't go back. That's the only reason why I started watching it immediately. But oh well. PZH. After I'm done watching the Sunday video here in a minute, jump into my Discord and we can talk.
Crime that occurs along the way, or any particular crime at all for that matter. Under conditions like this, just to put this into perspective, there have been Palestinian women released from Israeli prisons, and they will report just how much rape takes place in these places. If you see a state of chaos resulting from pushback against this, and you're naive enough, you might think this is the result of the chaos of war or something. If you buy that this is like an actual war, that this is actually something that has a hope in hell of producing a new status quo in which Palestinians aren't simply under the boot of the Israeli state. That is not the same.
If you're going to flood me with links, post them in the fucking Discord, in the fucking content suggestions. Don't flood me with links in chat, okay?
As being frothing at the mouth in favor of acts of rape and murder, etc., etc. So one of the things that really rubbed me the wrong way was I saw Aristotle.
Oh shit! Can one of the mods make a Discord link? I don't know why I can't. I don't have the ability to make a bot in Kick chat, so I might have it linked on my page somewhere on Kick.
Retweeting a Rebel News clip of some young men in Mississauga.
No, sorry. I was talking to Gas. Dino dude.
In a truck
sorry.
With a Palestinian flag throwing up peace signs yesterday.
Gas has been flooding me with links.
There were two things going on when they were doing
look at
so.
it.
One was the Hamas attack. One was the bombing of Gaza. It is a far cry to say that because Palestinians in the diaspora have a reflexive support for action against Israel, that therefore they condone or are in favor, or are universally in favor for that matter, or can be...
Antenna Cactus, link me the you know which tweets I'm talking about. Are you still in chat, Antenna Cactus? Wait, did I just disconnect? Okay, good. Whew. I need to hold on. I think Antenna Cactus linked it to me before. Yeah, reflexive support, quote unquote. Oh, you know what? I know where to find him. Because Sunday himself saw these videos. President Sunday. He wants to pretend like people aren't celebrating this. Listen to him again while I find this.
There were two things going on when they were doing so. One was the Hamas attack. One was the bombing of Gaza. It is a far cry to say that because Palestinians in the diaspora have a reflexive support for action against Israel, that therefore they condone or are in favor, or are universally in favor for that matter, or can be accused of being in favor of, for example, the murder and parading around of the body of the young woman at the music.
Oh man, did he didn't want to quote tweet her because he didn't want people to see the fucking video. Do we have to go to Eris's? Fuck my life. We have to go to Eris's Twitter and we have to scroll down and hope we don't see something that's TOS. Oh wait, you know what? Do we still have the tab open of the person? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's just reflexive support. They don't condone what's going on. They don't condone what's going on. They don't condone what's going on. Right? Even the shit that Sunday directly responded to on Twitter. Let's find the specific video so that he can't say, no, people aren't, I haven't seen any videos of people condoning this. Now, maybe I'm autistic and I'm not good at catching on to social cues. So can chat please inform me if these people look happy or sad? Do they look like they are mourning or remorseful? Or do they look like they're putting up V's for victory and taking selfies and honking? Now, I just want to hear him say it one more time. I just want to hear him say the retard thing again.
Matter. Under conditions like this, like just to put this into perspective, there have been Palestinian women released from Israeli prisons, and they will report just how much rape takes place in these places. If you see a state of chaos resulting from chaos of producing, that is not the same as being frothing at the mouth in favor of status quo. You buy that this is like an...
Wait, where is it?
Under conditions like this, maybe they'll actually carve out some space. Maybe they'll be able to get some leverage, rights and for the self-respect and dignity of Palestinian people, even if Hamas is the worst, right? Maybe. Being reflexively in support of that, given these conditions, is not the same thing as celebrating every crime that occurs along the way, or any particular crime at all for that matter. Under conditions like this, like just to put this into perspective, there have been Palestinian women released from Israeli prisons, and they will report just how much rape takes place in these places. If you see a state of chaos resulting from pushback against this, and you're naive enough, you might think this is the result of the chaos of war or something. If you buy that this is like an actual war, that this is actually something that has a hope in hell of producing a new status quo in which Palestinians aren't simply under the boot of the Israeli state. That is not the same as being frothing at the mouth in favor of acts of rape and murder, etc., etc. So one of the things that really rubbed me the wrong way was I saw Aristocracy retweeting a Rebel News clip of some young men in Mississauga in a truck with a Palestinian flag throwing up peace signs yesterday. There were two things going on when they were doing so. One was the Hamas attack. One was the bombing of Gaza. It is a far cry to say...
They look so sad about the retaliatory strikes right here, buddy. They look absolutely fucking distraught. Disingenuous
Say
cunt.
that because Palestinians in the diaspora have a reflexive support for action against Israel, that therefore they condone or are in favor, or are universally in favor for that matter, or can be accused of being in favor of, for example, the murder and parading around of the body of the young woman at the music festival that Hamas attacked. But what really rubbed me the wrong way is Eris was going on Twitter going, Aristocracy, going, how can I as a Jewish woman feel safe in Canada when, and literally what she had in front of her was Palestinian men with the Palestinian flag throwing up peace signs.
Look at the deconstruction of that video. Look at the deconstruction of that video. Again, they were honking and waving and cheering and throwing up peace signs and hooting and hollering. This disingenuous, egg-looking motherfucker, pile of pudding, piece of shit, is like, well, obviously these people were just, out there showing solidarity with the innocent civilians of Palestine. We can't assume that they endorse or enjoy anything that's going on right now. It's just fucking crazy. And also the fact that he's going to draw some sort of the fact that he's going to draw some sort of like weirdness out of what Eris said. Yeah, listen. Right now, there are people on Twitter saying that the rape of women is totally fine as a decolonizing action. There are people saying that it should be totally fine for Palestinians to, en masse, kill colonizers. So yes, when a person who is either Jewish or Israeli says, hey, I think it's a little bit weird and a little bit scary when people who are like, supporting the literal terrorist group that has in their charter that they want to eradicate all Jews from the face of the earth. When those people start going out and fucking celebrating in cities near me, I feel a little unsafe. Imagine my fucking shock, Sunday.
And it's like, I'm sorry, the cause of the Palestinians does not now have to be shut down because Hamas did something. That's not how that works. You being offended does not mean that the cause of the Palestinians now gets to get shut down.
That's not what she said.
There's a really disturbing willingness to demonize an entire, a massive population of people that are already being funneled around like chattel.
It is so fucking ironic when he talks about like it is not good to demonize an entire group of people. Meanwhile, he literally defended fucking Professor Flowers is defending the statements of people about fucking Israel-Palestine when they're saying this is what decolonizing looks like. This is decolonial action and it's based. When people are saying that, and they're also talking about the fact that the Israelis should be taken out back and fucking pushed into the sea, that they should be removed by whatever means necessary from Israel, and that any colonizers around the world should be given the same fate. Maybe that might make a Jewish person, the group of people who have the highest rate of hate crimes committed against them in the United States and in the Western world, maybe in the world, but I don't know, the highest rate of fucking hate crimes, maybe it's not a fucking weird thing to be scared,
It's really disturbing.
What a piece of shit. Okay, PZH. I'll jump into the Discord. Oh, I see you're already there. Hello. Did you just join the Discord? Because if so, then you need to. Here, you know what? I'll just give you the perms. I'll do it manually. And then you're going to have to hang up and you're going to have to rejoin the call. All right, now you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yeah,
Yo, how's it going, bud?
good. Thanks for having me.
Alrighty. So what specifically did you want to talk about?
Anything. I mean, I'll give some background. I'm in the UK, but I am originally Israeli. I did serve in the army just a long time ago, and yeah, it's been a rough week.
Yeah.
I did call my family. Some of them are still there.
Test.
Hello, yeah.
Okay, sorry, my internet cut out. I don't know what the fucking deal is. Really quick, can you? Is there any way for you to turn yourself up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have cranked you up as high as I can go, and I can still barely hear
Okay.
you.
Give me a second now. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Is that a little bit better?
Sounds exactly the same.
How about now?
Oh, significantly better. There we go.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Oh, good. All right, so you, before my internet cut out, I think you said that you have family in Israel or that you were from Israel. I couldn't hear.
I'm in the UK now, but I am originally Israeli. I do have family still in Israel. Though I was just saying that it's been a very rough week.
Yeah. Okay, so here's some like questions. So like I have a view of like the Israeli-Palestine conflict that basically boils down to there was like the British Mandate in 1948. They kind of fucked up with some of the drawing of borders. Britain overpromised, gave everyone promises that they could not keep because the promises were kind of contradictory, which is basically what led to the partition between Palestine and Israel. It was a whole thing. And the Arabs did not like the fact that the Israelis took over in those areas. They tried to take it back. They did not succeed. They tried it again. They did not succeed the second time either. That led to essentially like the occupation of both Gaza and the West Bank. There's probably freedom fighters there for decades. Didn't work out super good for the Palestinians. Didn't work out good for the Israelis because of, now they fucking hate each other. And both have reasons to hate each other. Here's the question for you. Are you like it seems based off of the things that you were saying in chat that you're like big Israel defender.
I'm relatively. I would consider myself objective. Like I try to be objective. I'll call out things that I don't think are right, but I guess I would defend Israel in a lot of the cases you may bring up. But if it's something I disagree with, I'll just say that I don't agree with it.
Okay, gotcha. So I feel like one of the things that I have an issue with, and both sides of this equation do this, is like they want to point out the atrocities of the other side, but then they either downplay or just like disavow the issues of their side, which is not cool. Very not poggers, right?
Well, considering you spent the entire time saying some lefties have gone too far, I can appreciate that sentiment.
Yeah, I think that it basically boils down to there are a good number of people, especially people who are analysts or who have looked very deeply into this issue, that have a very hyper nuanced take, understand why both groups hate each other, right? Understand why these attacks happened, but still hardcore denounce Hamas, right? Whereas like people who are more ardent defenders, I won't say that you're like going to defend literally everything that Israel does, but like people who are more ardent defenders of Israel will they'll kind of take the, well, you know, that does happen, but they're trying to murder us line. Like where on the like spectrum of I totally support Palestine and all of Hamas actions because fuck colonial rule, to IDF rules like let's march children in front of our tanks as human shields, that's based because fuck them. Like where are you on that spectrum?
Well, I think I can speak for most secular Israelis that to say that we would rather not have any conflicts at all. I know that's easy for us to say because we go to work, we come home, we pay our mortgages, we have families, and I think obviously to some degree even people living in Gaza would just like to do the same habits that we do day-to-day life. But I did serve in the army. I did see what was going on, and it's not really like that much of a gray area to some degree. Again, there are some faults, and I don't think Israel is perfect, or certainly not in the last some odd years, and certainly not certain settler groups. I wouldn't say. In fact, I would say they're quite problematic. But I don't think there's a moral equivalent that I really need to defend in this case.
Sure. I feel like at one point I was more on the Palestinian liberation side when I was a lefty. But then when I actually looked into it like at all, it became very gray for me. And now after looking into it a little bit more, there's still a lot of gray area there, but not as much as people like I feel like Vosh, if you've seen any of his coverage, he has like it's a gray area, but Israel does more wrong than Palestinians, and Hamas should not be the representative of Palestinians like broadly. So
it's Hamas and Fatah have like a conflict between them. Hamas is in Gaza. I would say pretty strong support from the locals, especially if they're religious. If they're not religious, then if the people in Gaza are not so religious, or like they want to just relax and smoke weed or something, they'll find it very difficult in Gaza. Gaza is quite theocratic. On the West Bank side, it's the PLO, it's Mahmoud Abbas. They don't get along with Hamas at all. They have internal fights when they meet in the street and stuff like that. So in terms of like, let's say, if we were to discuss a peace plan, let's say, or anyone would, like, there's not really one person to sit down, because who actually speaks for the Palestinian people, and to some degree, like you started the conversation about the history of it. So if you look at the map, like the Israeli map, the West Bank is very close to Jordan, and the Palestinians there, or the Arabs there, are from that side, or from Jordan.
Yeah.
And Gaza is from the Egypt side, and the Palestinians there are mostly Egyptian. So back like in 1948, terms, like Gaza would have been either part of Egypt wholesale or just administered by Egypt. I'm not exactly clear, but they were, like, from our point of view, they were part of Egypt. And then Jordan had like a big chunk of the West Bank that was just part of their country, including some parts of Jerusalem. And that's really the separation, and they don't seem to meet eye to eye anymore.
So there's a big separation in the kind of like ideals and goals of people on the West Bank and people in Gaza.
I mean, if Hamas does a terror attack, I don't think the people in the West Bank would condemn it. But
Right.
they do have, like groups vying for power, they do fight each other.
Yeah. Do you think that when it comes to people bringing up or like trying to both sides it, you said that it's for you as someone who served in the military, it is a lot less gray than it is black and white. Why do you say that?
I mean, I don't. So from our point of view, Israelis are. You can either look at it one of two ways. Either we're native to Israel, or we conquered Israel in 1967. So the most up-to-date take is that there was a massive war between 5 countries against Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And so you had like Egypt, which I mentioned, controlled Gaza, and you had Jordan, you had Lebanon, and you had Syria, and I think one more I forget. But basically the short story is that in that war, Israel won and they pushed everyone back. So Israel had pushed all the way up to Beirut in the north, and they took part of southern Lebanon till like 2001, I think. And then the Jordanian side were pushed back and they took control of, where the map is now. In Syria side, they took the Golan Heights, which Israel still keeps, even though no religious person claims this is part of Israel. It's just strategically a high ground.
Mm-hmm.
And in the case of the south, Israel took over where Gaza is now. And from our point of view, because we conquered the armies that were attacking us, bearing in mind that we see Gaza as Egyptians and the West Bank as Jordanians, we see that as the reason why we are justified in holding the land of Israel. Over time, how we got to today is there was an idea in 1963. Sorry, not an idea. In 1963, Arafat came and established the PLO. Up until that point, there wasn't a separation between the people there, like either from Jordan or from Egypt. There became separation where these are Palestinians native of the land of Israel. Up until 1963, that was not a concept.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, it became a concept, and over time and up to the Oslo Accords, during the Oslo Accords, there was a heightened idea that there should be a land for peace approach to dealing with the Palestinians. Like they don't want to have anything to do with Israel. They don't want to integrate. They should have their own land. And then in 2005, Israel left Gaza like fully out. Like they just uprooted settlers, they uprooted religious people. And bear in mind, this was a very difficult time because settlers have the belief that land of Israel is very holy. So there was lots of internal conflicts between secular Israelis and religious Israelis around 2005. So we moved out, but basically, in terms of like mistreating, let's say in the case of Gaza, mistreating the people of Gaza, I don't follow exactly what the claim is.
So
I mean,
the claim, yeah, I can explain
Yeah.
some of it too. I don't know the extreme intricacies of all the problems, but a short list is they have so many restrictions and we can say that this is as a result of there being terrorist activities there, but the restrictions like on the amount of concrete that you can import into Gaza will never be enough to build like water salination plants, right? Like Hassan brought that up earlier today. So only 10% of Gazans actually have clean water. They actually don't have the ability to build any water treatment plants as a result of restrictions put on them by Israel. Now, this is probably because if you import a bunch of concrete, then people might build up either, like military bunkers or, like be able to do something with those bombs that are helpful to terrorist activities. So, like, I can understand where the idea comes from, but the effect on the civilians is pretty unbelievably harsh. I believe that
well, let me
yeah, go ahead.
Let me answer to that point. So I'm not aware of this restriction. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I've never heard of it.
It's new to me today too.
Inside Gaza, I have seen large concrete multi-story buildings erected. So I'm not sure if they're reusing what they already have, but there are obviously now you can see with the bombings of buildings, these are large multi-story buildings. I'm assuming some of it is made of concrete.
Right,
so I'm not exactly sure now, but bear in mind.
Yeah.
So as of now, or has been for a few decades, Gaza gets its water, electricity, and let's put medical aside, the water and electricity from Israel. So Israel purifies it and gives to them electricity they get from Israel. They can get medical services outside of Gaza if they have to cross the border, but they can for free. Yeah, it is blockaded, but on a normal day to day, there are thousands of people in Gaza leaving Gaza to work in Israel, typically in agriculture, and then coming back, or they leave for a few days and then come back I don't know, for a season or something, and come back with some money. But also bear in mind, in terms of saying it's blockaded, Gaza has a border with Egypt. And if they want to get supplies from Egypt or materials from Egypt, they can do that.
I don't know the intricacies of that, but I also think that Egypt doesn't have they're not in the business of helping Gazans out, right? That's my understanding.
Well, look, so,
they close the border to them for this.
But to some degree, this is so. How can I say? If Israel is blamed for what's happening to the people in Gaza, bearing in mind that Gaza is like a quasi-state, Israel doesn't do anything inside. I mean, obviously now with the insurrection, but normally Gaza has its own elections, its own laws, its own police, its own judges, and it has a border with Egypt, which a lot of the people in Gaza are from Egypt. So if they have a particular relationship, they want to bring stuff in, they do bring weapons in from Egypt. They do have tunnels, not tunnels, they do have infrastructure that they can use to bring water into Gaza, in the form of tunnels, but instead they use it to smuggle, Hamas specifically is to smuggle terrorists. So if Egypt
don't they also have restrictions on how deep they can tunnel?
Inside Gaza?
Yeah. I think that
I'm not aware.
Yeah, they're not allowed to.
Look, maybe.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's possible that you can come up with a restriction that I'm unfamiliar with, but on the whole, Gaza is theirs. Israel doesn't come in unless it's a big deal. Doesn't normally visit Gaza at all.
Gotcha. Maybe I need to look more into what's going on in Gaza, because I thought that I knew more about Gaza than I did the West Bank, but maybe it's the opposite.
Bear in mind, Gaza has a beach. Right, they have very lovely hotels at the beachside, very lovely hotels. There's a whole section of Gaza with very rich people. You can see the Gaza, if there's a hashtag I think in Twitter called the Gaza that I didn't know or something like that, or Gaza that you don't see. They're obviously poor areas, but there are very rich areas as well.
And is it usually when there are retaliatory strikes from Israel, is it usually just into the poorer areas?
It's usually just in buildings that Hamas occupies to do something.
So it's not restricted to or it's not normally they just bomb the poorer areas. It's just whatever is wherever Hamas is.
Well, look, I think it's wherever Hamas is, because bear in mind those missiles are expensive, so they won't.
I mean, of course. That's why I was trying to explain earlier, the idea that they're going to shoot a $3 million, $10 million fucking missile to take out one Hamas militant who isn't even high up on the chain is insane to me. I don't think that that's happening. Let me see. Do you think that how about this? In lieu of me having like specific examples, what restrictions, what sort of actions from Israel do you think are actually completely unjustified? What do you think are unnecessary actions that the IDF or the government of Israel does towards Palestinians that is unwarranted and might lead to like these kinds of conflicts sparking up?
Well, let's set aside the West Bank for a second, because I think there could be some points there that
the settlements and all that.
With regards to settlements and with regards to conflicts there, and you know, there's always these flare-ups around who owns a building in Jerusalem. Can you find out the records from the Ottoman Empire about who owns something really serious, which usually ends up in like the high courts. But let's stick to Gaza just for the example because it's relevant to current news. Mm-hmm. In terms of what Israel does, I would actually say that to some degree Israel is super soft and bends over backwards to appease people in the Middle East, including Gaza, but it has a knock-on effect on upsetting people in Jordan, upsetting people in Saudi Arabia, upsetting people in the UAE. Israel is bending over backwards to appease the Middle East, just like America has been for the last God knows how many decades. And prior to this event, and I think throughout most of the year, we had like one minor terrorist incident every 2 days. So like either like a stabbing with a knife, or someone ramming with the car, or someone getting out of the car with like a machine gun and shooting Israelis. We had these small incidents once every 2 days, and it was getting really ridiculous. And everyone was in our opinion, and I think, in my opinion, and I think the people in Israel as well, is that this isn't a way of protecting your people. So this particular event is where you just like massacre.
Yeah, of course.
Children
this is wholly
at a peace festival.
Yeah,
this is just like it. How can you be safe in this? How can you feel safe leaving the house? How can you be safe growing kids to the age of 20 something in this country? It's very unnerving.
Yeah, to be like ultra clear on my stance, like I totally get, like I have personal friends close to me whose parents are from Israel, and I used to think that their takes on on like Palestinians were a lot crazier than I do nowadays. But like I totally get it, because if one side feels like they're if one side, like the Palestinians, feel like they're being hyper oppressed, right? They're probably going to do terrorist actions at a certain point. It just depends on like how bad that oppression is, right? And then if they do terrorist actions,
I don't think the Palestinian.
Well, I'm just giving like what their point of view would be, and then like from the point of view of Israelis, if there are people doing terrorist actions and they're fucking targeting civilians on a regular basis, like you're saying, like it's totally reasonable for the Israelis to be like, you know what, these motherfuckers are trying to kill every single one of us. I don't have much concern for the plight of Palestinians, but they're going around and fucking stabbing people and fucking, massacring fucking peace raves and shit like that. Like, I have very little concern for how they feel about the situation when they're like constantly targeting people who are just going about their everyday lives. So like, I understand why Israelis would be like, yeah, fuck Palestinians, fuck Palestine, fuck Hamas, fuck all these people. They're trying to fucking kill us. Like, it's very understandable.
I would say this. I'll say a bit of a story. Back when I was in high school, we had a lot of suicide bombings, and suicide bombings either in like a large like disco for young kids, and we also have lots of suicide bombings like on buses. And at the time, our political landscape was very different than it is now. We did have a left. We had like a very strong left. So we had Bibi Netanyahu has the Likud party. There was also the Avoda party, and it was basically 50-50, and they were basically like Democrats and Republicans. They were fighting over a few more seats, and then they could build a majority.
Mhm.
And we used to have a minor, like an extreme left party called Meretz. And at the time of the suicide bombings, their argument was, so basically, sorry, so let me just back up. So basically,
You're
someone
fine.
who kills themselves, they have nothing to live for. So what Meretz was saying, give them something to live for, like appease them in some way, or give them a lot of stuff, like material stuff, money, and so they have something to live for, and they won't blow themselves up. And it seemed rational when they were presenting it. But I think like after like when a few of these films and we just saw that it wasn't effective. These people are happy. At the time, it was with the suicide bomb. It just seemed like it was something it was their ambition. It was something they were aiming to do, to be a martyr. And also, if a kid would do that, then their parents would get like, I don't know, like $5,000, $3,000 a month for the rest of their life or something. Which is still a program that's around. And yeah, what I'm trying to say is it's not necessarily the case that it's oppression. I think that them saying that they're oppressed is to appeal to Europeans, white Europeans, that oh, please help us, please put pressure on the Israeli government to stop this and that. We just killed. So for example, Hamas now said that they want to talk about a truce. Like, you just killed we have 900 dead and counting. By the latest count.
Wait, did they ask for a truce?
They asked for a truce. It's like a show.
What
It's
the
it's just
fuck? I haven't heard that. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
You just did the most fucking like crazy attack on like Israeli soil since the fucking Yom Kippur War, and you're like, okay, well, look, takesies backsies, all right. We'll release the hostages, and you guys don't retaliate whatsoever. That's fucking crazy.
They won't release the hostages, but they do want a truce. They would
They
release
want a truce without releasing the. Okay, hold on.
They would do the truce, and then they want 1,000 prisoners for 5 hostages. Something I don't know if you know, but like
I haven't heard of this. I'll have to look at this after we're done.
So Jewish people, the religious one in particular, they really care about the remains of people. It's very important to them. And when Benjamin Netanyahu was first prime minister, he did a deal where he traded 400 Palestinian prisoners. So these are prisoners that did some sort of terrorist activity, and there's a special prison in Israel where they're kept. And he traded 400 of them for the remains of one Israeli soldier.
Mm-hmm. I've heard about this.
So you open the door for these. I mean, I would also like the hostages to be given back and alive, but you've just kind of set a precedent where Hamas is really building on these, or they really care about these hostages because they can use them as a shield in case Israel wants to bomb Gaza, and they can also they can just basically move them to Egypt or move them abroad and negotiate for years in the future to get an infinite number of prisoners or a very high-ranking prisoner out of prison, because we've already opened the floodgates that we're open to any sort of negotiations.
I feel like okay, I have one last question for you, and then I'm going to make a request.
Okay.
The last question is, do you, like, off the top of your head, do you have an example besides the ones listed of Israel trying to like bend over backwards to appease Palestinians and like the broader Arab world? Like, let's say, like, specifically with Gaza, right? Like, outside of like prisoner exchanges or anything like that, like something that they are trying, like, are they trying to do something about the water situation, the the extreme poverty situation, etc.?
Well, I don't know about the extreme. So okay,
Well, I'm just
to
like
one,
listing off anything that I can think of. Like, if you have a different example, I'm fine with that. I'm not pressing
I
you.
would say that for the longest period of time when we had these like small incidents, they didn't do anything. That's already appeasing because it escalates the situation. If let's say, I think between the start of this year to like end of February, I think 23 people died to terrorist activities, but like small over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they said, well, okay, now we're going into Gaza, now we're doing these things, that was something that the leadership didn't want to do. And again, I'm not in Israel, so I don't
Sure.
really understand what's going on as well as people there. And I wasn't there when they had the recent very serious change in the legislative system, the judicial system, sorry. But if they would have gone into Gaza or would have gone into the West Bank or Jenin and done some kind of activity, that would not be appeasing. That would take things seriously and stop attacking Israelis. We mean it this time and stuff like that. Because in the Middle East, I don't know if Americans are aware of this, but you kind of have to show force. You have to show strength. And if you don't show strength, then you're kind of really opening yourself up to being attacked. It's difficult to explain, but it's just the mentality of this region. So if, for example, Biden is now, I'm not getting into
it's fine.
an argument. If Biden shows weakness or like even something that is perceived as weak, or let's say you left Afghanistan very badly, let's say that is open season. That is like, wow, they're weak. There's a chink in their armor. They're not as strong as they used to be. It's flat out open season.
Gotcha.
But in terms of like the water and stuff, look, Israel gives electricity and water to Gaza. In terms of poverty, that again, it's their kind of quasi state. They can do whatever they want, but in terms of poverty, like Israel does let them in and out and get them jobs. So I think there were periods of time, obviously. So if there's a terrorist activity from Gaza and they shut the borders down, then people will suffer in Gaza because they won't have jobs. They won't be the ability to earn money. So ideally for those people, it's better if it's open. But yeah, we can't, like the government of Israel has to protect Israelis first, and that's what it's doing.
Gotcha. Okay, now for the request. I'm gonna keep on going over some of this stuff.
Okay.
Especially over because now I'm calling into question a lot of the narratives that I've heard about, I think that the IDF does some like crazy stuff, but I don't have any like specific examples to ask you about. So
look, let me say this, right? With regards to the IDF, like I am sure that every once in a while there's a crazy soldier that does something bad. I'm not gonna dispute that. Or like a sniper that did something bad, or like by accident something happened. These things are thoroughly investigated. Or at the very least, when I was still in Israel, like if someone went out of line in the army, these things have no end of investigations. They will be put in prison. They will. There's countless examples of Israeli soldiers that did these things being put in prison.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if like something happened and a bullet strayed and killed some, that could very well be the case, and it could, and I would agree that it could have happened. But in general, it's a very restrained army.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go over some stuff. If you like, as long as you're like watching me, if there, I'll give you the perms in the Discord for this. If you see something that is on the video that you want to hop in and say like, hey, there's actually more context to this, I'm going to give you the reason why this happened, or this is actually complete bullshit. I gave you perm so that you can just like hop in and out of the VC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the conversation, buddy.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Catch you later. I guess I don't know as much about the alleged war crimes in Palestine, or at least I take them at face value most of the time. Maybe it is the case that I am taking too many of these things at face value, and Israel is actually not doing anything really that bad. Maybe it is the fact that it's just there's two competing narratives, and it's going to be really, really hard to find the midpoint. But maybe we should look into some of the Israel or the alleged Israel mistreatment of Palestinians that doesn't have to do with the IDF, because PZH is conceding the fact that, yeah, there's probably some people that do some bad things, Okay, let's look at some of these links really quick that Gas linked here. Okay, so we have Amnesty International. We have Human Rights Watch. Is it just videos? Why don't they have like an article? You know what would be really great? If they had some bullet points that linked out to articles about it, like they do this, and this, Israeli authorities are committing the crimes against humanity of apartheid and persecution against millions of Palestinians for over 55 years. Israel has occupied Gaza and the West Bank. Well, they don't occupy Gaza anymore, but including East Jerusalem, relying routinely on forcible displacement and excessive force. In the West Bank, authorities have facilitated the transfer of over 700,000 Israeli settlers, a war crime, confiscated vast swaths of Palestinian land, and made it nearly impossible for Palestinians to build in much of the territory without risking demolition. Israel severely restricts the movement of people and goods into and out of Gaza, with devastating humanitarian impact. Severely restricts the movement of people and goods into and out of Gaza. So that's something that PZH was saying is... I don't know if he said that it's not true or that Israel gives them the opportunity, but this one's more detailed. Thank you. Okay, this is the summary. Holy shit. Maybe we'll just watch the video. Oh, assuming the video works. The video doesn't seem to be working, which is based. Video. Gaza in an open air prison. Let's watch this one. Fuck it.
بحس إنه الأفق كتير ضيقة ومغلقة في غزة. الناس في غزة ما عندهمش هذه الاستقلالية على موضوع المستقبل، على موضوع طموحاتهم، أفكارهم، حتى أحلامهم.
طبعا أنا كان أملي وخاطري يعني أن أحترف يعني في وطني وفي بلدي في فلسطين، لكن كالعادة يعني القيود المفروضة على لعيبة غزة من السفر هي بتحطم يعني جميع الأحلام.
والحق في التنقل والسفر هو حق من حقوق الإنسان، بالتالي أي إنسان المفروض أنه هو يتمتع بهذا الحق.
The vast majority of Gaza residents from leaving through Erez.
كرة القدم هي
The obvious response to that would be, well, when we give them the opportunity to have freedom of movement, it gives them more ample opportunities to just come in and fucking shank people.
هي الملهم الأول إلي، هوايتي منذ الطفولة، كل هي شغل الشاغل يعني.
Dubbed.
حرية أنا بلاقيها بس في أرض الملعب، يعني لما بلعب كرة قدم خلص بنسى كل الضغوطات الموجودة فيه. طبعا هو كل لاعب يعني في غزة بتمنى يسافر ويحترف ويصير لاعب محترف، لأن هنا يعني بالنسبة لقطاع غزة يعني الكرة فيها بيعتبروه يعني دوري هوا فيش احتراف، فطبعا يعني أغلب لاعبين غزة بيبحثوا عن احتراف سواء في الضفة الغربية أو في مصر أو في الأردن أو في أي دولة. طبعا أنا جاتني فرصة في عام 2019 للاحتراف مع نادي مركز بلاطة في الضفة في نابلس. قدمت تسريحين، قدموا لهم تسريحين عن طريق اتحاد الكرة، لكن الملف كان عند اليهود يعني ما ارتفع، يعني الملف جاهز في الجهات الفلسطينية. اجاني كمان عرض احتراف ثاني من نادي هلال القدس في القدس الشريف، طبعا هم قدموا لي تصريح برضه قوبلوا بالرفض. طبعا هي فرصة مهمة كانت لي، يعني بتفيدنا في الاحتراف في التطور، واقدر اصل المنتخب. برضو كالعادة يعني هي الامور القيود المفروضة علينا احنا اهل غزة من منع في السفر يعني.
لمستقبل القضية الفلسطينية بشكل عام، كيف ممكن احنا نقدر نوصل لحل؟ أنا بشتغل في مؤسسة زمام فلسطين، منسقة البرامج في قطاع غزة. بنشتغل بشكل أساسي مع الشباب، توعية الشباب عن القضية الفلسطينية. إنه أنا المكتب الرئيسي لمؤسسة زمام اللي أنا بشتغل فيها في مدينة رام الله، مهم إني ألتقي بزملائي في الضفة الغربية وجها لوجه عشان تسهيل عملنا كموظفين في مؤسسة واحدة. لكن للأسف فوجئت بالمنع الأمني الإسرائيلي.
Arabic sounds cool. Thanks, Gas.
لأني قدمت أكثر من مرة إني أطلع على الضفة، بس للأسف تقريبا 4 مرات، بكل مرة كان السبب غير مطابق، ما بقدر أطلع.
Out of curiosity, let's try. Oh, it's the same article. Does it highlight it? I just want to know what the Israel, Gaza. What was the word I just saw that I could use? Israel, Gaza deny entry. Let's see here. Doesn't look like we're going to find it. Arbitrary. Let's just read some stuff. There are no reports of the government or agents committing arbitrary or unlawful killings during the year. The number of terrorist attacks generally declined during the year as compared with 2012, particularly rockets and mortars fired from the Gaza Strip. Border police and ISA interrogators. What I don't want is just a bunch of anecdotes from like individuals on things, because it doesn't really help me on much, you know? Like it just hearing that like this person got denied, that person got denied isn't helping me.
بصراحة الموضوع أثر كتير علي كفلسطينية عايشة في قطاع غزة. في البداية حقي كمواطن فلسطيني إني أكون أو أسافر على أي مكان في فلسطين.
النساء في غزة كصانعات أفلام مش سهل عليهم، الإشي مضاعف.
Okay,
غير إنه
I thought that they would actually like show me what the actual fucking policies were that were the issue. I thought that maybe that would be a fairly easy fucking thing to find, but I guess not. I guess that's not something that everyone is allowed to know. What exact policies? We just have to hear fucking sad stories from individuals, but that doesn't help me understand what the fuck is going on and why. I saw your text. I'll text you. Oh shit. I didn't see those texts. Sorry guys, I didn't realize what time it was. I gotta go. So, okay, I'm gonna do a bunch of fucking reading off stream, because everything is being called into question now. Maybe they should just glass the place. I don't fucking know. If you guys have, or if you guys know any good sources, or if you guys can find me like specific policies or specific, things that are going on, please DM me. Please post it in the Discord. Let me get Discord links really quick. Let me see here. Create invite link. Invites. Create one. Copy. All right. If you guys have like anything for me, please join the Discord. There's an interesting articles channel that you can throw links into, but because I neither have the time nor the patience to read all this shit on stream, like huge fucking reports from the Human Rights Commission of the United Nations or anything like that. I need I need like specific policies. Otherwise I can't fucking say like, oh, this is what is happening here. I can't go based off of like, I can't get good at soccer unless I can leave the Gaza Strip. Why is everyone being denied? What, like, on what grounds? On like, what are the amount of people that can leave the Gaza Strip, right? Because they're making it out to be like everyone can, but then the PZH guy is saying not everyone is being restricted from leaving Gaza and they can get jobs in Israel. Like, these are the things that I want to know. I just need to know. Yeah, on the quality of the memes on their hard drive. Like, yeah, I just need to see exactly what it is that's causing this shit. Oh, PZH actually posted something right here. The Gaza you don't see. Water parks, rich people. This is dangerous for me to be scrolling anything that has a hashtag with Gaza in it live on stream. I am playing risky. Holy shit. And I'm not stopping either. And I need to stop. Like, PZH, like, if you're still watching right now, like, yeah, this seems like the North Korea you don't know. Like, even if it was, even if, like, I were to look at this and be like, wow, look at Gaza. Like, this looks really great. I would be just looking at a couple of anecdotes, just like the anecdotes that I was complaining about on the other one, right? Like, I feel like just because there are a couple of pretty parts of the city and there are rich segments of the city. Yeah, I don't know. This seems like a little propagandistic in the same way that other people are like trying to propagandize stuff, you know? Meanwhile, if we were to like click on the trending Gaza thing right here, right? If I just type in Gaza, I feel like I'm going to see some like actually unbelievably crazy shit. Like bombs go, yeah, there's bombs going off. I can't show that one. I can't show that one. That's the same video that I can't show. Like it's just like we can paint two different Palestines, or I'm sorry, two different Gazas, just showing like individual little clips or videos of like a segment of the city. So, anyways, I gotta end the stream. I have a movie to watch, all right? Because I have a real life to get to. I love you guys very much. A little bit of a shorter stream, but we ball, all right? I'm not going to do any rating or anything like that because I don't even know how many people are watching right now. So, what's the movie? I don't know. It's October, so we're going to watch a scary movie or something. I'll get giga high. I'll take some acid and then I'll watch the most grotesque fucking gory movie and then I'll report back in the Discord, okay? Once again, really quick, here's the Discord link. All right. Love you guys. I'll catch you guys later.